And I think we are live. This is Hog Planet, the podcast where I mean, Dance Baventa, and what are we calling you now? Sam what? What are we calling you now?
Oh, I think I'm Sam Lewis for the internet. For the real heads, I have a last name, but for the weirdos, I'm changing. I got to change my display name here too and everything. But yeah, what's up, everybody? It's Sam Lewis coming to you from DC. How's it going?
Yeah, and I'm in New York, here in Brooklyn and Flatbush. And if you can't tell, listen, it's been a minute since we fucking podcasted. Sam, I think we last released an episode in September of the Hog Planet podcast.
I think you're right. I think it was sometime around that, and we could give the fans a little bit of an explanation. I don't know, Dan, what were your thoughts as we just kind of tapered off doing the show to the extent that we did it at that time?
To give you a sense of how we decided to stop doing the show, we just didn't, and we didn't talk about it, and we just stopped doing it, and we never said we weren't doing it. Because it's at a certain point, it was like, it just started feeling like work, and that was never what this was about. It was about two boys, just two old pals, just talking about the hogs of the planet. I mean, that's simply the program. So I can't be editing episodes trying to make them sound perfect. Like, that's not what the show's gonna be anymore. The show is gonna be live to tape, live off the dome. You, me, Sam, and you being the listener, and we are just gonna, listen. We're not, and also, listen. The Patreon is dead. We killed it. We took it behind the barn, and
yeah, we gave it the Lenny treatment from Of Mice and Men.
Yes, we what did he do? He gave it a rabbit or something?
No, he just what's the name of the other guy? It's been ages since I had to read
Lenny,
that book, which is by far the worst.
Is it bad that I wanted to
George?
say,
No, George has to take him out
is it
back.
bad that I wanted to say Lenny and Carl from The Simpsons?
Well, at least the white guy would be the non-compass, the neuroatypical one of the two, as opposed to the other way around, which might be Mice and Men. Spoiler for everyone who hasn't read this unbelievably boring book. Lenny's got to go about back. He killed a lady on accident, and he doesn't fit into normal society, and George decides that he's got to go. And so George says, look, do you see the rabbits? And just gives him one behind the head. So that's how the end of that book ends, and that's the analogy.
I believe there is a TV version with Gary Sinise in one of the roles, and I don't know which role. Anyway, we used to have a bit at work where I gave my friend a Gary Sinise book, and then we would thumb through it, and we'd be like, and then September 11th happened. And it was just like, it was so depressing, the book. It was just like, and then I played Lieutenant Dan, and Tom Hanks was really cool. Well, we're not gonna have a Patreon because we don't really want to be accountable to anyone. We want to kind of just make this show when we feel like it, and just kind of do it for fun. And if you're listening, it's because you like us, not because you like necessarily hearing us talk about politics and shit. Because honestly, Sam, I don't know about you, but I'm a little burnt out on it all, because I can't be sitting here doing a podcast like Bad Faith or something where it's like just complaining about Joe Biden and stuff. I don't want to spend my life doing that.
Yeah, I feel like we're at a critical mass of saturation of just commentary, and of course we're basically gonna do commentary here, but it's like for fun, and we're doing this spontaneously. We're doing this just because we want to do it. And previously, I used to. It may not sound like this because I'm a dumbass, but I previously was always kind of busting my ass to do research for this, and trying to make it so that everything was very factual, and I don't know, it was a lot of work, and there's definitely an outlet for that for me, but I'm not sure if a podcast is the right medium. I think that we're going to talk a little bit about podcast mediums later on, but I think this is just better for us to have a spontaneous, fun, improvisational live radio
Unedited.
sort of thing, unedited.
And
This is
also,
what Dan
hey,
does.
hey, this is what I do at SiriusXM. You may know me from such films as The Bennington Show, The Craig Ferguson Show, The Gilbert Gottfried Amazing Colossal Show, or podcast, whatever you want to call it, and a bunch of other shit. So, you know who we are. Sam is in the legal profession. Are we allowed to say?
Yeah, I don't do anything fun, honestly. Not one single fun thing. Like Dan does, at least. Dan's an artist. I'm just like I'm the I don't know if I'm the straight man in this comedy duo, but
It's we don't really
there.
subscribe to the usual dynamic there. I don't think we're not like an odd couple type. I think we were very, very similar in some ways. But behind me,
We're similar in some ways, but
YouTube,
from different walks of life is what I was trying to say.
I would say. But if you look behind me, if you're watching on YouTube, and also we're going to put the show on YouTube as well, so you can watch the show now. If you're listening to it, you can also watch it on YouTube. I'm gonna make a YouTube channel called Hog Planet right when we're done recording, and then this will be up there. I guess I got to figure out a way to slap the theme song on the YouTube version. Okay. But behind me, you can see there is the painting known as the ass clown taking a selfie. Sam, I've found an outlet since we've not been podcasting, and that has been acrylic paint.
And that's what's up. Dan's painting is very. You've really come a long way, and I don't mean to say that you ever did anything bad. It's just that like you've really developed your voice as an artist, and by voice I mean laying the paint on thick as hell. Like that is your trademark.
And the thing about that is, I just don't like to waste any paint. That's really
it gives it like a 3-dimensional vibe, though. I'm here for it.
No, yeah, and I like painting clowns and ugly guys. If you want to see my paintings, go to @dspaventa on Instagram, @DSPAVENTA on Instagram. I sell them too. I've sold 7 of them. Can you believe it? 7, Sam.
Yeah, you haven't sold any of them to me, even though I asked for 1 or 2 of them.
Well, that one was already taken.
Well, I can't deal with this rejection, dude. This is why we had to turn off the Patreon. They were holding me accountable all the time. I couldn't walk outside without being held accountable.
I'm sorry that a straight right white male was held accountable, but you're just gonna have to fucking deal.
I know, me, a member of the most
Sam,
suppressed
what's your opinion
Earth.
on the rise of anti-Semitic attacks that the Zionists are claiming are occurring?
Well, I guess it's hard for me to take it seriously when I'm not saying that anti-Semitism doesn't happen, but it's just like so fucking convenient that every time people en masse kind of realize that the situation between Israel and Palestine is one-sided and pretty fucked up, especially for the Palestinians. All of a sudden, when people start talking about that, we start hearing about how anti-Semitism is on the rise. And I think a large part of that is honestly the equation between criticizing Israel and being anti-Semitic, which I don't think it exists. I mean, Dan and I are Jews, but we don't live in Israel. We live here. So
I've never been to Israel. I have no family from Israel. It's not a part of my. It's a government. It's a. I don't even know what to call it. Like, I don't feel a spiritual connection to Israel. Like, they say Yisrael in the prayers, but other than that, I don't know anything about the place. Like, you go there on birthright to get a hand job. Like, they want to basically be like, you lost your virginity in Jerusalem, so you should support the Israeli government and the killing of anyone who they feel like. I literally think that's what birthright is.
Yeah, I think there is some not too subtle birthright brainwashing going on, but in general with Israel, I mean, like, yeah, the Israel you talk about, like in scripture and stuff, or like the meaning of Israel for Jewish people, even if they're secular, isn't necessarily the state of Israel, at least in my conception. I'm a largely secular Jew. I don't hold myself out as like terribly religious, but I do know people who are pretty religious, and Israel for them is like it's like Canaan. It's like a symbolic thing. But there's this idea now that we've been able to reach back into the Bible and yank that, like, it's like nostalgia on steroids. They've been able to yank that into the present, kicking and screaming. And the cost of that is, I guess, kicking all the Palestinians out of the country that they were sitting in when Zionists decided to like set up there. And it's very frustrating that there's this like I guess this equivalence drawn between Judaism or even secular Jews and Israel when it's like any other country, it's a constructed idea. I don't know.
Yeah, plus the you know, Judaism does not equal the Netanyahu or whoever's replacing him government. I think it's safe to say, which I think some people can't get that through their fucking head.
And it also doesn't like it doesn't involve all Israelis, but it involves more of them
No,
than
like
a lot of
let's
Israelis
just
are
say,
willing to admit.
let's just say it involves the Israeli government to be safe. And nice, we got a Scooby background here.
Yeah, I put this up because I saw to lighten the mood a little bit. You know, we're getting into Israel Palestine, which is rough stuff for anybody. But Scooby-Doo and Courage the Cowardly Dog will be starring in an animated feature on the way for Warner Bros. Home Entertainment. I just saw this on Twitter.
Fuck?
Dan, how do you feel about this?
Wait a second. Scooby and Courage. So what's the link? What's the link? That they're both dogs?
Because yeah, which is racist or it's speciesist, dogist, whatever.
I'm honest. I can't believe what I'm seeing here. Courage and Scooby. I mean, Scooby is twice the size. These are not similar dogs. These are not from the same world. Scooby, there was the macabre certainly on Scooby-Doo, but it was in a playful way. Courage was a terrifying, like, weird fucking show. Together, it will just be a bland piece of shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, Scooby and Courage number one would be terrified of Scooby because Scooby has like Scooby's speech abilities are much more developed than Courage. Courage, you remember Courage just goes like,
yeah,
and
like,
he has to impersonate what he's trying to say to his owners, and Muriel and Eustace, his owners, are always kind of like, what are you even talking about? What, like, oh, that's very nice, Courage. Whereas Scooby and Shaggy, maybe because Shaggy is like has acid damage or something, they like communicate. Like Scooby talks, and other people can hear him too, right? He's not like a Hobbs from Calvin and Hobbes situation.
No, Scooby is fully he's a talking dog. He speaks to Velma, to Shaggy, to Fred and Daphne and the gang. Why don't we listen? We fucking talk about why I have an I voted sticker on my fucking hat? I'm just tearing it off right now. I'm ashamed at you for not bringing it up sooner. I just tore, for the listeners at home, I just tore the I voted sticker off of my hat. Today I voted in the elections for New York City, mayoral, and a few other things, comptroller. I think comptroller, I voted Brad Lander. I don't really know anything about him. I literally just have one friend in the DSA who tells me who to vote for. But he said but this is what I did for mayor. Let me explain. No, so there was ranked choice voting. Should I go from, I mean, like, what questions do you have about this race, first of all? Because it's fucked.
Okay, so I'm from like the tri-state area, but I've never lived in the 5 boroughs. And I personally have been watching, as like a New York expatriate, more or less, I have been watching this with just a massive grin on my face, because no matter what, all y'all New Yorkers who say that you're like a number one,
don't do this to me. Oh,
you're getting this guy. You're gonna get him, or you're gonna get Yang. Like,
Sam has just put his background as Eric Adams. They
can see it.
The guy who won't stop sending. Well, the listeners can't, and the listeners will have
YouTube. We're trying to monetize here. No,
yeah, listen, watch on YouTube too. Listen and then watch it. We want both numbers. So Sam is now kissing Eric Adams on the neck, which is really grossing me out.
I'm doing a little Adams, like a Biden neck smelling here too.
Sam, I was bitching about this on Instagram at times, but he was sending so many mailers. Oh my God, every fucking day, and they kept saying things like, I was beaten by the cops, so I became one." Literally, I got that mailer like 3 times.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean? If you can't beat them, join them, I guess, is like the logic there. It's bizarre.
I guess it's really sad. But
okay, I got 2 things with Eric Adams that I heard recently that he said. Number one, he said that he wants to retire to the Golan Heights in Israel, which is disputed territory between Israel and Syria. Interesting choice. I mean, I'm sure it's very scenic out there,
Listen,
but seems like a loaded question.
It's probably his great weather.
Okay, so yeah, we all love the Mediterranean climate. We love some high altitude. Maybe we can forgive that one. What do you think about how he talked about how his favorite concert was like when Curtis Mayfield got paralyzed by a falling like stage? All right, I gotta pull.
I did not hear about this.
I was trying to save a more disturbing picture of Eric Adams so that I could use it as my background, but I got to find this Mayfield's quote. So, Dan, Vamp, tell us more about your voting experience.
So, yeah, I went down to some school in Brooklyn, and it was, honestly, they didn't even have our fucking, for people on my street, they didn't have our like names in the system or something. So it took an extra like 15 minutes. So thanks de Blasio. It was, it was fine. I did the scribbles. It was, the fucking, what is it? The ranked choice. So you pick 5. So what that meant to me was to anyone but Adams and Yang. So the 5 I picked were 1, Wiley, 2, this guy Art Chang, I think his name is. I just heard about him today. If I'm butchering his name, I apologize. If his name is actually Arthur Chu, like that fucking stupid guy on Twitter, I don't think he is, but they're both named, they have similar names. So I don't know.
I'm gonna tell everybody on Twitter that you voted for Arthur Chu, though. So
I did write in Bernie Sanders for one thing, actually. I forgot which, but I did write in Bernie for one thing. But I put number 1, Maya Wiley, because she's an MSNBC boomer favorite. She's been on the MSNBC circuit for a while. Also, she's a de Blasio Democrat, whatever, fine. I put 2nd, I put Arthur. God, what the fuck was his name?
Chu/Chang.
Art Chang.
You had it right the first time. Don't doubt
yourself. Yeah, I did. I was not confident. Art Chang was number 2. 3rd, I put fucking Catherine Garcia, because she might have a shot actually winning. I don't think Maya Wiley is a shot. And again, we're recording this. Maybe there'll be results by the time you listen to this. I don't know. Who gives a fuck? We're just talking about it. And then you got the fucking Scott Stringer, who got Me Too'd, and fucking Diane Morales, whose campaign fell apart because she tried to union bust them when she was the fucking socialisty fucking lefties on Twitter fucking pushing her. I remember all of you who put your backgrounds as those like Diane Morales fucking the mad backgrounds. Like, you screwed up big time.
Owned.
Oh,
so you'll be happy to hear that I have found the
do you have a clip to
Eric
share?
Adams quote.
Oh, the quote. Okay.
Of about his favorite concert, which is when Curtis Mayfield was injured and paralyzed. He said, without missing a beat, apparently, he said that his favorite concert was Curtis Mayfield at the Wingate Concert Series. At that concert, there was a rainstorm and the lights fell on Curtis Mayfield, and they actually paralyzed him at that concert. He died a few years ago.
What?
An amazing concert before that happened. He's literally doing the like, other than that, Miss Lincoln, how did you enjoy the play? But like,
yeah, no, actually.
He's like, oh, that was the best concert I've ever seen. Shame that he like nearly died and then later died a few years. I don't know. That I thought that was just wild when he that's such like
he's gonna fucking win too. God damn it. Him or fucking Yang. God damn it. I live here, damn it. It sucks.
Honestly, I'm not look. Is it probably a bad thing? Sure. Do I care that much?
The mayor is a punching bag.
Funny.
They're not that fucking important. Anyway.
Yeah, you guys will just bitch at Andrew Yang for a while now, or you'll bitch at this guy.
Yeah.
For the next, how many years do you have of a mayor in New York?
4? Is it 4? I don't fucking know. See, this is why we shouldn't do a politics show, because we don't care about this stuff anymore. Like all the ins and outs and facts and stuff. It's like, you don't have to. It doesn't matter. Like, this is Hog Planet. We're talking about hogs. Eric Adams is a full hog.
Well, and Eric, look at him. Look at him.
I mean, he's a hog, man. He's a pig because he's a cop, but he's a hog.
Maybe I shouldn't keep singling him out, because I don't want people to get an idea So
No, I mean,
Andrew,
look at Andrew Yang. Look at Scott Stringer. Even he was supposed to be progressive, but he kind of sucks too. Like the
man,
whole.
Andrew Yang's had the
Don't be
best
pulling up
gaffes
pictures of
this
Andrew.
time
Don't make me
around.
look at pictures of fucking Andrew Yang. I've seen his face enough this year. Enough already with the Andrew Yang. You know, he's like a sad little
Oh, I
fucking.
promise I won't.
You're fucking googling Andrew Yang now, aren't you? No, don't
no, I'm
fucking
not
do it.
Googling him
No,
now.
don't,
But
don't, no, fuck, don't.
the only
fuck,
reason
fuck,
I haven't
fuck,
Googled
fuck,
him is
fuck,
because
fuck, 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 fuck. Actually, nothing happened, so okay, this is fine.
yeah, that's because I'm bad at computers, man.
Weren't you gonna do a big reveal there? Some Andrew Yang
I
reveal?
was planning on doing it. I clicked the wrong button, man.
I built you up so
go hire
much.
an IT. Well, now you
Can I
made me
share
look
my
like a
screen?
fucking idiot. And yeah, you can
know,
share your screen. Do whatever you want.
let
Now you
me
made me look
let
like
me.
a fucking idiot in front of all the viewers, and all I
Wait
was trying to do
a
was get this
minute.
bizarre photo. I have
What
no
is
idea what's
that
going on in
face
this photo. I
doing?
just like it.
Can you describe it for the listeners at home?
For the listen, yeah, for the non-video people, it's Andrew Yang, and like the camera is situated in the middle of a huddle looking up, and like Yang is with a bunch of other people I cannot recognize whatsoever, but he looks very
It's a bunch of
intense and,
fellas. Like it's just a bunch of dudes.
it's just dudes. Yeah, it's like the most average dudes you would ever see in, any of the 5 boroughs. But yeah, I'm not fully sure what's going on. It's the caption I'm finding on Bloomberg is that it's a prayer circle outside the Barclays Center. So I don't know. Share your screen. Let's see what's going on here.
So this is from the New York Nico account on Instagram. This is it looks like Washington Square Park, and I'm gonna just play this clip here. And this Nico, I think his name's Nicholas Heller. He's a fantastic follow on Instagram. He takes pictures of New York and stuff. This is a cause that I think a lot of us can believe in. So let's just listen to some of these protesters from today in Washington Square Park.
I cannot hear this. Maybe the listeners can.
You can't hear it?
No, sadly. I mean, it looks like good shit. It's a bunch.
Well,
of
they're saying
Jewish men.
2, 4, 6, 8. We just want to urinate. So okay, we don't have to fucking hear it. I don't care. I'm not dropping the audio in. I'm not fucking editing this. We got to figure out how to. Oh no! Oh wait, no. Hold on. There's a setting. There's a setting because I really want you to hear this. Hold on. Just vamp for a second.
All right. Well, I'm going to describe all the angels.
Well, no. Can you describe why public restrooms are important? Because I think that's actually an actual issue.
Sure, I won't talk about all the Andrew Yang photos.
No, fucking
public
Yang.
Public restrooms are a seriously good thing, obviously, because human waste can have bacteria and other things in it that will make you sick. And putting it into a sewage system that, cleans it and keeps it from getting out to the general public is actually one of the best things about society. I think 2 of the best things about society, number 1, running water, can't beat it. It's amazing. I mean, it could be done better in certain places. I'm sure there's like some issues with the systems that have been set up. I used to live in New Orleans. They had lead pipes, yada, yada. You don't have to tell me, but overall, pretty good thing. And part of that running water system is sewage. That's just good shit. Literally. I mean, it means that you don't have to have the feces out on the street. It's not like the rats you would see in DC that carry it around. That's one less thing you have to worry about. I can't say enough good things about public restrooms. And definitely public restrooms in New York are so fraught because you have to go in and buy like a $9 coffee if you want to use the restroom. If you're in like some godforsaken part of Midtown Manhattan, you're there with some.
Well, it's like once you turn 21, you can like just go into a bar, but it's like until then you're fucked. Or if you're homeless, like they're not just gonna let you like shit in their bar. They're probably gonna give you a hard time. I know there's a setting on here where you can like video settings. Hold on, audio. There's a way to make it so that when you share it, the audio share screen. Hold on. See, I'm narrating fucking. This is what this podcast is now. Just us narrating fucking tech issues.
You want to watch this shit? You want to have some kind of parasocial shit with Dan and me, or maybe you're actually one of our friends who we know in real life. This is what it's like. You got to deal with us. I don't know what to say.
Enable remote control of all applications. This is bullshit. This is all bullshit. I get audio.
This technical dystopia we live in.
Well, Zoom is so funny because, like, you know, they charge you so you can do for over 45 minutes. Are you sure? So I'm hearing this really loud. So you're sure you can't hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
But you feel free to play it again. It's really good without the audio.
Okay,
too.
without the audio, I think we gotta play it. We gotta just let it play on
on.
repeat.
All right, we can reveal it for the listeners. This clip is literally at Old Jewish Men. Like
I'm gonna put my
protesting
headphones on the clip.
They are protesting in favor of public bathrooms. Obviously, we've been setting this up for a moment, but the viewers can see it. The listeners may be able to hear it through Dan's headphones on his mic. Who knows? But it's really good. The visual, I mean, this is why you got to watch it on YouTube. The visual their signs are great. Their signs say old Jewish men for more public toilets. That's probably one of the most old Jewish man and women issues of all time, honestly. All the Jews in my family have bladders the size of like olives. So I think this movement could really go somewhere.
It's nice to see, you know, the older generation like still have that protest fight in them, and I think that is a cause any of us can get behind. Like public restrooms, you know, some people have like it's a serious issue. You know, I think we can all agree.
I mean, yeah, I was just extolling the virtues of sewage.
I mean, I was listening to that, but I think I was further commenting. We can all agree.
No, the listeners know that when I vamp, it means that you have been like shot out of a cannon and are flying off and struggling back through, you know, Bushwick or whatever to get back to your apartment.
I don't live in Bushwick. I live in.
But you landed in Bushwick, and then you have to get through there to get to Flash. But all right. So
usually you got to go through Union Square, and then you got to fucking schlep all the way back down to the other side of Brooklyn. So, why don't we talk about?
Fascinating. Anyway.
I have a Brooklyn story to tell. I saw my first live show since the pandemic. It was Sarah Squirm live at the Bell House, and she was very funny. Ran into Noah from Blowback podcast and Will from Chapo Trap House and Catherine who writes for the Discourse blog. So that was kind of cool. Got to say, like all their stuff. It's fun. It's fun sometimes in New York. You just run into random people whose like stuff you listen to or like read, and it's like, oh, they're just kind of existing too, you know. Well, we all just have like fucking bullshit jobs, you know. Theirs just happens to be, you know, front facing.
You think that's cool? I once saw Robert Reich walking around in downtown DC. So,
well, I have a fucking boner now. Well, no, but you did. I think you told this story in our last episode that you saw Jacob Wall and Jack Berkman. That was pretty big.
Oh yes. That's true. I did see them. I mean, RIP to them. I think since Jacob Wall got banned off of like every form of social media, we haven't had any more of those guys used to do like chaotic press conferences out front of Jack Berkman's apartment and like or his condo in like Arlington and talk about how like Liz Warren was paying Marines to, you know, dom her or something like that. It was always really good stuff, but it feels so long ago, honestly. Maybe that's another thing with this whole Hog Planet Redux thing is I'm realizing how much things have changed, how much we've changed since then. It used to be, I feel like the Trump years were funnier. I think that's what it was. I think the Biden years, they're not that funny.
Biden is, I think Biden could produce better comedy because like that guy James Austin Johnson, like I feel like if he finds like a Biden angle instead of this fucking, I like his Trump, but it's like I feel like he's got to find his Biden, you know. I feel like all these people who do Trump just like let's not do so much Trump anymore. Let's move on. But also I really like his Trump stuff, and it's probably like the best out there. I don't really like anyone else's Trump stuff at all. And like for years now, it's been so fucking bad out there for political comedy, and it's like under Biden, it certainly doesn't look very good. I mean, like we did a whole episode about Jon Stewart. Like I'm fully ready to cringe at his new show. You know, I really don't know what that's going to be. And
can you explain the Jon Stewart new show to me and the listeners? Because I heard that he was having a new show, and my brain turned off upon that realization. And
from what I heard, it's just basically like a John Oliver type desk show, but I think on Apple TV Plus, so you know, harder to watch. But I don't really know too much. He hasn't announced too much about it. I think there was a big thing going on Twitter where people were like trying to apply to be writers there, and it's like, cool, man. I mean, listen, Jon Stewart is like beloved still, but like, listen, I'm not gonna I'll watch the show like to see him be bad, because like there's no way that he's gonna be good. Maybe I'll eat my words and be like, oh wow, I was so wrong. Stewart's like the coolest guy now, but like I just think he's a crusty old fuck,
Yeah, I would like to see him come out of this funk that he's been in, the funk that we described in that episode with Luke Savage, shout out. And I don't know. Yeah, I've always wanted to see him do well, because when he was good, but who knows? Anyway, for political comedy, I think all we've got in the Biden years, besides his like gaffes, which are barely funny because nobody else thinks they're funny. Only like a certain subset of people think they're funny. With Hunter Biden and all of the ridiculous revelations about him, like calling his lawyer the N-word and like weird shit. Everyone just kind of pretends that that's Russian disinformation. Like none of that sticks. So again, I think it's kind of funny, but if you can't share the laugh with anyone, then it's hard to do. But one thing.
Sam, can I interrupt this thought so we can say one thing? Did you vote for Joe Biden?
No.
Neither did I.
DC went, okay, come on. DC went 95% for Biden.
I didn't wait in line for at all, and I fucking did not. I voted for Howie Hawkins, some fucking loser. Like, because I didn't have the cool socialist candidates. I had to vote for Howie Hawkins. So I don't know anything about, but Howie, give me a break.
Well, living in DC, where critical race theory has been taught to 6-year-olds since 1991. By critical race theory, I mean the theory that when kids go to school in DC, they get told that their parents are awful slave owners who should be struggled and shot. I believe that's what critical race theory means. But
it should be banned in all schools and all establishments. It should be banned but I believe in free speech.
Also. Well, Dan,
Also.
as much as I know you want to reproduce, just don't have your kids go to school here. But either way,
listen. I believe in free speech, but no one should be able to talk about that. But continue.
Yeah, my free speech is being threatened, but
my free speech is being threatened by you talking about critical race theory. You're threatening my free speech, so you can't talk about it. All right, continue.
Either way, DC. We're like the communist socialist utopia of the world. Everyone here is just, we're all wearing Mao suits and like the Red Star hats all day. So that I was able to vote for the Party for Socialism and Liberation's candidate, Gloria La Riva, who, I mean, I had plenty of the lefties listening can say plenty of delirious things about how goofy PSL can be at times, but it felt good, honestly, to just go ahead and do it, because I held my nose back when I lived in Virginia and voted for your girl Hillary Clinton. I also voted for Ralph Northam for governor of Virginia, who
was that
I don't even remember, but he was
scandal.
No, it was pre-scandal. And the scandal, for the listeners or anyone who doesn't remember this, is that he was found to have pictures of himself doing blackface and like his med school yearbook or something.
Yeah, it was like some like postgraduate yearbook.
And that was a scandal for like 3 weeks, and he's still governor.
Yeah, it was nothing.
I don't know.
I mean, you could be Andrew Cuomo now and like still be governor, and you could like have been killing so many old people in the nursing homes and like groping every fucking staffer and woman that you come into contact with, and you could still stay governor. But that's how this shit works. I mean, and listen, the powerful, they get away with stuff. Just look at the the Biden dog body count. Sam, do you have any comments on that?
That's what I was gonna say is the one funny thing. That's what I was gonna say is the one funny thing about Biden is his
God
dogs.
Damn it. God damn it. Did I just step on your punchline?
It's all good. It's like we came to the same place.
Well, that's funny. It's really funny, actually. So this is good. This is good.
Champ and Major were just biting everybody, and Major maybe still is, because Major is surviving, whereas
Champ has passed on.
Yeah, R.I.P. June 19th. He was born October 2008. And
Are you on his
that is,
fucking Wikipedia or something?
Champ and Major have a very detailed Wikipedia page, which I am on. I shudder
Do you
to
know?
imagine. I shudder
Do
to
you know?
imagine the lib who like sits updating this stuff, and then this poor person had to like add in the fact that Champ is no longer with
Everything
us.
has to be changed to the past tense.
Yeah.
No, did you know Bo Obama also died this year, so maybe the Biden dog body count is bigger than people thought. Like Bo Obama was the Obama dog.
Oh yeah. I remember I remember
So
those doggos.
so I don't know.
Honestly,
Watch your
shout out to Trump for not having a presidential dog, because it
pretty
was
funny. He just
like
like didn't want
honestly, it's
it.
like so funny. He just doesn't like, the only dog he liked is the dog that like killed like the head of ISIS or whatever, like Abu Bakr al-Bashir.
Baghdadi, right?
Baghdadi, yeah, that guy. That like the only dog he ever liked was that dog, and that's honestly like more humanizing than someone who's like, I gotta have a dog for this stupid job, I'll just bring a fucking, Obama doesn't give a shit about those fucking dogs, like come on.
No. Of course not. So Major was like biting everyone, so he got like shipped away. We still don't know his
He got
current
sent to a
location.
farm upstate in
We
upstate
literally
Delaware.
tried to look it up, like where they sent Major, and like there's no information. So
Maybe that could be
Major,
our
if you're
conspiracy theory.
Major, if
We
you're
could get
out
into
there,
like the free Major movement.
if you have seen, yeah, like a Q Major, like a QAnon, but for Major, like they're taking him, and we would need a Q figure. Do you think I could do it? Do you think I could be Q? I think I could be Q.
I don't know, man.
Ron Watkins seems like a fucking idiot, so I think I could be Q.
But he's got the programming skill. You don't know how to program that stuff.
I don't know how to program anything.
You don't have access to all the data about what the freaks are posting on 4chan and stuff. It's not easy. Not anyone can do that.
How great was that QAnon Into the Storm documentary?
Oh, it was wonderful. It was so fun.
If you haven't
so
seen it, definitely check it out. Even if you're not familiar with QAnon at all,
or even if you are kind of familiar with QAnon, like we've discussed this as like a pet obsession for a long time. But not that we're into QAnon. We don't think it's true, obviously. But
no, just like the podcast QAnon Anonymous, we talk about how stupid it is,
Yeah, and it's interesting as like a social phenomenon, but I don't know. I think I learned a lot from that. Is my champ working? It's
Champ Biden is now in Sam's background, so I'm forced to look at that. I'm not changing my background this entire program, by the way.
Well,
so now
you already
Sam
set up a background. You didn't tell me I was going to be on video. I just happened to be like,
I
really
literally said,
naturally.
do you want to put these shows on YouTube? And you said yes. What did you think that meant?
Text messages.
Okay.
Anyway, no, I had to improvise, and that's why Champ is licking my face. R.I.P.
Sam just tried to make out with Champ Biden, so this might end the podcast already, and we just started again.
Yeah, I mean, no, Milo got canceled for excusing pedophilia, but we will get canceled for excusing bestiality.
It's true. Do you know? I don't know. I got a few more topics here, Sam. Can we just talk about? So Ari Shafir is a comedian. He mentioned in an Instagram post fascist China. I don't really care about the rest of what he said, but could you just debunk the idea of the current government of China as fascist if we're talking about?
I think that like the term fascism is a little out. I don't want to say like outdated, but it's also like a little misapplied to China. I do think fascism is kind of a particularly European phenomenon. And even if you want to say that the Chinese state has, more control over people's lives than it should, I don't know if it like maps exactly onto that, I think is what I would say. But in general, it seems like what we're seeing these days is like a sort of liberal apologism for, even if Ari Shafir doesn't consider himself a liberal, a lot of liberals listen to him. Like it's sort of like, I think it's a way to put sanctions on China the same way we sanction like Iran and stuff like that. And they always have to have some kind of reasoning behind it. And with China, I think the reasoning has become like, oh, they're fascist. Like I've seen a lot of people trying to say that they're just like the Nazis. Like they're like, oh, they've got millions of Uyghurs in concentration camps. It's exactly like what Hitler was doing to the Jews. And China is, fascist, like not, Naziistic state. and it's just aggressively reductive. And I think it again, like,
you know what it
if
reminds me of? You know what it reminds me of? Like rocket discourse about Palestine. Like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like it's so like in what's the word? Like not incongruous, but like the idea of like the thing is being like blown out of proportion completely.
yeah. And well, I think my thought on Israel Palestine as it relates to the Xinjiang things, that it's really peculiar how one is condemned and the other is not. Like if we're being real about this, like it, you could easily say, if you want to be one of those people who says Israel has a right to defend itself, maybe you should be also saying like China has a right to defend itself, because that's the argument that the Chinese are making about Xinjiang, is that like they have to defend themselves against Islamic terrorism that has spread into Xinjiang. Whether or not you believe that is up to you, of course. But it's interesting because I see a lot of like my liberal friends who are very much pro-Israel condemning China for the Uyghur thing, and I'm like, so it's okay when Israel does it, it's just not okay when China does it, because China is an enemy of the U.S. and Israel is our friend, and also you feel kinship with Israel, because you've been told to, and I just, that's kind of where I'm at with this whole Xinjiang thing. It seems like a really nice way to excuse sanctions against China with a liberal bent. Like, I mean, the China rhetoric of the Biden administration is no different from the China rhetoric of the Trump administration, other than that, Trump says China is the worst place on earth because
Well,
they're
you had sent me
beating
that
us in
good
trade,
you'd
whereas
sent me that
Biden
good
would.
oh sorry, but you would send me that good Bernie Sanders article about that, right? Like he wrote.
Yeah, and he honestly goes in that he wrote an article for Foreign Policy. It's impressive that Foreign Policy was willing to promote it. I got my boy here,
Now Xi is Sam's background. President Xi,
yeah,
the
President
Putin,
Xi,
Winnie the
because I'm
Pooh
doing a lot
himself.
of people are going to call me a China apologist or something, so I might as well bank on it, because honestly, if I was going to pick any country to defect to once the US gives up the ghost, which honestly, this country's got like 10-20 years left of juice in it before it gets really bad here. I'm going to hang out with my boy. I'm going to hang out in China. I've accepted that for a long time. But yeah, I'm sorry, I got off my train of thought there with the Xi. What was the question you had before me?
You know what? Let's just move on, because we've gone. We're probably going to go way over now. So I want to say a few more things before we wrap things up.
You will say them in the presence of President Xi, though.
No. Well, we said we were going to talk about a little bit like Rogan, the waning influence of like not being on YouTube, and then maybe tie that in a little bit into like the Sam Cedar versus Steven Crowder thing. Just
Yeah.
what is your sense of, just like, don't you feel like Joe Rogan's like, he definitely like took the bag and like decided he didn't care about how like being influential, which makes sense, I guess, right? Like it's easier for him to just have the money and not, you know, the YouTube viewers where, people shit on him all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say, just my personal prejudice is that like it's probably better that fewer people listen to Joe Rogan.
Oh, of course.
I don't think he's like particularly dangerous, but like a certain kind of dumb guy thinks that he's like the smartest dude on earth. So
I listen to about 2 or 3 episodes a year, I would say.
So like if this particularly dumb guy listens to Joe Rogan and thinks he's getting the straight dirt, and Joe Rogan says something stupid about like trans people, then I don't think it's like for society the best thing. Having said that, I mean, I have watched Joe Rogan too. I don't think he's like, I think he's in many ways a good interviewer. I can understand why people watch his show. I don't think it's purely because they want to be like, fascist or whatever, like and I mean to minorities or whatever else people think to equate Joe Rogan with. But it is interesting that he's made this move, because I don't know, there's like in culture these days is weirdly siloed and segmented, and then also weirdly mainstream. And but what I mean, especially on the internet, like what I mean by that is we've got like our big four social media. We've got like your Twitter, your Facebook, your Instagram, which is owned by Facebook anyway, and your YouTube. And those, I feel like, are like this closest we have to mass culture now. But even within those sites, there's a million subcultures. Like on Twitter, there's a million different kinds of Twitter topics, even though they're not split up into different message boards the way like Reddit is. But Spotify is like kind of similar like that to that for music, but it is interesting that he's seen his view. I think Spotify's bet was that they would get a lot more people listening, subscribing, and listening to podcasts, or at least going to Spotify for podcasts if they had Rogan, because he was such a big draw on YouTube. But it's interesting because the platforms don't really work the same way, do they?
Not at all. I mean, it's apples and oranges, I would say. But
I think like the crucial difference is that like YouTube, you have the autoplay, so you could be
right,
sitting there, and then Rogan comes up, and before you know, you're kind of hooked into it, and then you're like, oh, actually, I might check this guy out. I think that's how a lot of people get into stuff on
and
YouTube.
perhaps the auto suggest.
Spotify, you got to go in and specifically look for stuff,
But
unless
perhaps
it's suggested to you by the algorithm.
The auto suggest on Spotify might also spit out like the same intellectual dark web garbage, Eric Weinstein's podcast or whatever. Also, Matt Taibbi's Eric Weinstein article. Shout out
Brett
Weinstein. Excuse me. Eric is his brother. Matt Taibbi. Lame now. It sucks. It fucking sucks.
They got him. Someone got him.
Someone got to Matt Taibbi. I don't know what the hell happened.
There is
him and Glenn just make it really tough at this point to defend.
I don't want to seem conspiratorial, but there is such a big market out there for laundering right-wing thought for like liberals and progressives. And I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's just like a reality of the media landscape, and it sucks. But I mean, we'll always have the work they did in the past, and Glenn's still doing plenty of good stuff exposing like corruption in Brazil and stuff like that. You should
and Taibbi's and Taibbi's Rush Limbaugh obituary was great. I mean, like I'm not saying they're not capable of good stuff. They're just super like weird now. The stuff they choose to cover, like I unsubscribed from Taibbi's newsletter because it was all just about like meet the canceled. It's like I just don't give a shit.
Yeah, no, it's meet the set. I'm still subscribed to it because I subscribe to a lot of fucked up stuff on my email. I got the New York Times morning edition, which is like some of the most sociopathic stuff I've ever seen is written in that morning news thing. It's a hell of a way to start the day. But yeah, I still get the Taibbi stuff just for a laugh before I quickly delete it.
It's bad, folks. But his book Hate Inc. is pretty good. That was like right before he lost all credibility. Not all credibility, just like I don't know. He used to be like the coolest journalist who seemed to have like at least some understanding of like the financial system in a way that like cool journalists like him didn't, or I don't know. He fancied himself, I think, like Hunter Thompson for the modern day, and I just think that now he's just like a Michael Tracy fedora guy.
Yeah, that is a shame. I feel like he had the potential to maybe be something like that for us. I remember reading his Rolling Stone stuff, especially around like the 2008 financial crisis, and I think he really communicated that well, especially like for me as like a dumb stoned like 16-year-old, being able to understand like that kind of high corporate finance and like all the stuff that went wrong there. The way he was able to communicate it was really effective and honestly very impressive. But it's been a long time since then. It's been like 13 years. So what can you do?
And I would like Hog Planet to formally endorse Sam Cedar in the ongoing debate with Steven Crowder. I mean, for those who don't know, I guess Sam is like a very progressive radio YouTube host. And thank you for more G photos in the background there.
I like this one. Fist bumping.
I see that. And Steven Crowder is transphobic, racist, white, right-wing. I don't even want to call him a comedian. He voiced the Brain on Arthur.
Yeah, failed stand-up who like rebranded as like, I remember the first time he crossed my radar was when he had this article about how good it was for him to wait till marriage to have sex, as if he had sex after marriage. Like, let's be real, he probably didn't. But either way, it was a bizarre article. Like he was in the article, he was saying something like, I saw this other couple who on their honeymoon and they had clearly both been drinking the night before, and I just knew that like they had just befouled themselves. It was really weird.
Yeah, apparently Crowder's dad like runs his whole business, and like they put his co-host on screen when Sam Cedar appeared on, I guess it was the Ethan Klein, I think the guy's name is, show, the H3 something. It's apparently like one of the biggest shows, but I have no idea what it is. But the the Sam Cedar Steven Crowder debate, briefly, I saw a couple of clips. I don't really know what went down, honestly, but I just am happy it happened. That's all I got to say, because for a long time Crowder was avoiding Sam because he literally knows that. I mean, Crowder, like, their whole thing is that, like, debate me, like prove me wrong. It's like he doesn't want to talk to anyone who actually can. He wants to talk to college students who are emotional and like don't, just get. He wants to like just trigger college students,
Yeah, he's doing the beta version of what like Ben Shapiro used to do and like what he became famous for, which was another conservative commentator. He was like he would basically go to colleges and find like the most emotionally damaged person in the room and then like try to own them, and then like that would end up on YouTube with something like Ben Shapiro owns this trans college student or something. And I think Crowder's trying to do that, but Ben Shapiro isn't. I don't think. I don't want to say he's smart, but he knows how to
Oh,
argue. Like he
can
is
I
like a
say?
trained
Can I say
lawyer.
something about Ben Shapiro? Go on YouTube and search "Cumtown Ben Shapiro Mr. Feeney," like from Boy Meets World. And that's all I have to say.
So anyway, thanks for plugging underrated and underappreciated podcast Cumtown, which no one has ever heard of. But we no, I think Ben, like, Crowder is just doing a beta version of what Ben Shapiro is doing, but he's too stupid to like. Ben Shapiro, to his credit, did have to like go out there and find people, whereas Crowder, it's more of like, come to me. He does like it's the intellectual equivalent of like when a dude is like, you're so fucking lucky I can't fight you right now. Like, you're so fucking lucky, dude. It's the
If you
intellectual
do
equivalent
anything
of
to
that.
my family, like,
Yeah, it's exactly like that, because like if you know that if you he doesn't actually want like a square debate. He wants to look like he's encouraging a square debate, that he, and so that because it projects confidence. But as soon as you like call him on that, unless you're like I said, an emotionally damaged like college student, then he's not going to want to talk to you because he knows he's gonna look like a fucking idiot. I mean, Sam Cedar, I'm sure these guys have plenty of disagreements with him, but the dude can argue. He's like a pretty well respected journalist for his part. I mean, and he's a smart guy, and he actually takes it seriously. Whereas Steven Crowder and a lot of people on that group, I think they know they're like charlatans. Like they know this is a grift more so than maybe a lot of the outright grifters on the left know that it's a grift. Although there are a few of those for sure.
oh god, yeah, I'm sick of just like the crystal balls and there's I mean, can we
It's
just
so annoying that people say
can we
she's
just
on the
say on
left.
Hog Planet right now that Brianna Joy Gray sucks?
This is something we have been discussing off air for a long time, but I remember her writing in current affairs like in around like 2016 was like really strong, and I was like, oh, this lady's gonna go places. And then she became Bernie's press secretary, and we were like, this seems like a good thing. And then since then she's just done the contrarian force the vote podcast thing. It's just, she's one of the lefties where I get the sense that like she's looking for more YouTube clicks. I don't know how to explain that. You probably can do a
Yeah,
better job of it than I can.
no, I think you pretty much got all the major points there. That you know I'm starting to think that Bernie lost maybe because he had some really dumbass people working for him, at the end of the day. Like, that's what I'm starting to see. It's like the more you learn about Jeff Weaver and like some of these other fucking people Bernie kept around, and like honestly, like Bree, like, is pretty fucking lame. It's like, maybe our guy lost because he had some dumbasses on his campaign running things.
Yeah, and that's an honest mistake. I mean,
No,
we
it's not
all
his fault. It's like I would have hired thank you for more
should have hired
President Xi.
This is Emperor Xi Jinping. I've just been doing progressively weirder screen, images to
Do you
image
know
searches to try to pull this up.
I brought up in conversation today that thing you told me about how Mao loves to go swimming. I like
Yes,
somehow it came up organically in conversation.
it's one of the best tidbits. There's like so many pictures of him swimming in the Yellow River and stuff, and he's just like, this is like to his credit, Mao really loved China, and he believed that like China like needed that like socialists who were trying to revolutionize China needed to do Chinese stuff and like celebrate China. And I'm not saying that all turned out that well for him, but it's an admirable attribute in a vacuum, I guess. But I'm here for Emperor Xi right here. He's giving me a quizzical look, but
yeah, and listen, that's why we don't have a Patreon, because this ain't a grifter podcast. You can't accuse us of that because we're making no money. I just spent money so I could get the full Zoom access because I knew we would go over time.
which was the whole justification for our Patreon last year. But,
yeah. Which we did make the money back. We did make the money back for that.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone who contributed. We much appreciate it. We just don't want to start it up again because we just don't want to have to be forced to make the show. We want to just make the show because we want to make it, you know?
Yeah, I guess like maybe like one of my like as we like wrap this up, one of the thoughts I've had overarching that I want to mention was like I'm starting to think that like if you try to make a career out of like doing art, and forgive me while I call this little show art, like I think if you try to I think if you try to like make something fun and creative into like a job, it's not going to be the same thing. Even if it feels the same way, even if you can kind of hack it or like work out a compromise, it's just, like we're here to just shoot the shit together and talk about things we like for all you goofy people. And I just don't need to make money off of it. I have a job.
Yeah, no, I have a job in radio, but everyone in radio, like you gotta have your own podcast on the side just to get your chops going. You gotta have your, I have some exciting stuff planned in radio, in real radio land, but like this is where I want to just have fun and shoot the shit and maybe pick up some viewers on YouTube. And we will do like this clown painting is probably not going to be in the shot in every episode, so don't get used to it.
Xi Jinping will be in the shot in every episode.
I figured we could end the episode on a slightly more serious note, perhaps, and talk about the article that Sam wrote for Father's Day on the Hog Planet Substack. Which what's the link to subscribe? What's the link to subscribe to that? Sorry, I am simply parched.
Don't starve yourself for water. That didn't sound like it. Anyway, yeah, the Hog Planet Digest is still available at hogplanet.substack.com. And I don't know, I just Father's Day is complicated for me because my dad died when I was young, and I just wrote a few words about like not resenting. I used to resent other people who honestly, Dan, I resent just you a little bit.
Well, because I get to listen to the Grateful Dead with my dad.
Yeah, you have an adult relationship with your dad, which is not to get like so maudlin on here, but it's something I never really had. And
yeah, it's like he, in a way, like, not to be like, your dad as an adult like is one of your best friends. It's the truth. Like, if he's around, it's just, if he's a good enough guy, it's just like it's something I would be jealous of, certainly.
Well, I've got my dad right here.
President enough Xi. With this President Xi. He looks like shit in that one.
Well, someone, the randos are just making these photoshops. He's not like, it's not actually.
I thought this was an actual like rendered portrait.
No, it's like a classical like Chinese painting with like him photoshopped on it. No, anyway, no, the thing with my dad, I don't know. I guess I just like another Father's Day. I was just kind of, I've been thinking about it a lot, and I just I guess like I was trying to think about my resentment and like and my family has a long history of like anger, and it's something I'm trying to work out. So I guess just with that article, it was very personal. I didn't think I posted it as like any kind of like relaunch of this show or anything. I just kind of posted it because a lot of people I know and like.
It was honestly as a result of it though that we said, like, I basically made a comment that was like, your writing is definitely better than our podcasting. And you're like, podcasting's fun too. And I was like, what if we did the show but we didn't outline or edit anything? And then and here we are.
Yeah,
2 days later.
I guess this is a good way for me to like, I do want to start putting out more regular writing up there, because that's really,
and I think you should, because I wouldn't say this if it wasn't true. I laughed and I cried in that piece, and I wouldn't say that to Sam if I wouldn't lie to him. I would say your writing sucks, but I think he's a fantastic writer, and you got to read this thing at the Hog Planet Digest. It's I guess we'll throw a link in the description, but I think it's worth your time.
Yeah, and I'm gonna start putting up more stuff up there. I might change the link name at some point, or I might just start my
No,
own
feel
separate
free. I
Substack.
mean, yeah.
We'll see. There might be Hog Planet written stuff, and then there might be, Sam Lewis written stuff. We'll see how it goes. But I do appreciate your kind words, Dan. Although I do feel that between you, me, and she, we have a bit of a mutual admiration society going right here.
And the ass clown behind me.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to exclude him. Them. I don't want to assume any pronouns.
There is no pronouns. You know what no one noticed about the ass clown? And again, look at my Instagram at dspaventa, DSPAVENTA, to see this thing. It is a clown, and honestly, I'm gonna duck here. What no one noticed is he's basically getting crucified.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't notice that either.
And he has a halo. He has a halo. Nobody noticed. He has a halo.
You see, folks, we're branching out into all kinds of new media here, and Dan and I are happy to keep doing things like fun little like one-offs like this, or even if it's more regular than this, because we're just we like to be creative together and maybe like hang out.
Sam, the other good thing is now we have the platform again. If I want to do another 4-hour binge of the Hillary Clinton documentary, I'm able to do that as much as I want. Like if I want to do 4 hours of Hillary on Hulu in a row, I can just do that alone and then release it on this feed.
Yeah, and I will be not part of that, but you could do it. No, I might dip in. Who knows? I do like.
I am not doing that again. I already did it. It's already an episode on this podcast, so you can enjoy that already. 4 hours Hillary on Hulu in one sitting.
All right. We got anything else for the?
Well, I wanted you to bring up the JFK thing before we close out.
Yeah. No, I was I was just thinking about about JFK and reading something my dad wrote about it, because he visited the 6th floor museum in the book depository where like Lee Harvey Oswald supposedly shot JFK.
I think it's safe to say Oswald shot JFK at least once.
Sure, but I guess it was interesting to me because I think our generation doesn't like get it. Like JFK for people who grew up in like the 60s and stuff was like 9/11. Like for us, like it was just this like cataclysmic event. It was like a before and after period. And then I don't know. I think especially if like you want to believe that the CIA killed Kennedy, then it's like definitely a big divider in history between like the previous era and the current era. But I don't know. It's just interesting because Dan, you've been thinking about JFK quite a bit, and
yeah, I'll reveal the big secret. I'm working on a new podcast, independent from this one. I'm not going to reveal the name or anything, but I'll tell you a little bit about what it's about. I love the Bob Dylan song "Murder Most Foul" from his most recent album, which is a like 17-minute song about the Kennedy assassination, and I don't know why. So it's a podcast where I try to figure out why I love this song. And also about various Dylan ephemera, I think it'll be about, but it'll be going like 30 seconds by 30 seconds through the song every episode, and me trying to figure out why I like it just by myself, and maybe with guests sometimes, but like I want to figure out why I like thank you for the Morgie. I want to figure out why I like this song so much and why I connect with it so much, because I think it's just it's Bob Dylan proving that at 80 he can still, and Sam has pulled up the Kennedy Murder Most Foul portrait used by Bob on the vinyl that he definitely had a lot of input in its packaging. But so I'm gonna work on this show. I don't know when I'm gonna release it, but it won't be too long. I'm gonna put out a first episode fairly soon, but I just got to get all the logos and stuff together. But yeah, I'm gonna do a podcast. You know what, I'll say the title right now. It's the Hog Planet listeners. They deserve some chum. It's gonna be called Podcast Most Foul, about Murder Most Foul and Bob Dylan and JFK and the death of the 60s and the death of innocence and in America, and God, whatever the hell else comes up. I don't know if it's a limited series or if it's gonna be a regular series, but it'll be, that one will be a weekly series though, for sure. That'll be one where I like pre-record them and release them like on a schedule, because that I was originally planning on recording that in like a weekend, and then I said, why not slow it down and like really try to learn something here, because I've always wanted to become like that next level of Dylan fan who like knows just all the shit, which I never was that guy. I always loved the music, but I never knew like his life. Like this year was the first time I really read about the motorcycle accident and why it affected him so much and how little is really known about it. It's all very interesting history. So I hope to explore that on this new show, Podcast Most Foul. I'm announcing it here. That will be coming out at some point, and you'll hear about it on Hog Planet for sure. And visiting the book depository is pretty cool. I would love to go there.
Yeah, maybe I'll do it and do a gonzo kind of account of it, like I did for the DEA museum for the real heads. You remember that particular Hog Planet back episode?
Oh yeah, and we'll probably put out more best of content on the feed as well. So the chum keeps flowing. Like I want to, which one I want to pull? I want to pull the Starship Troopers. I think we did a good job on Starship Troopers a while back. I want to pull that for the modern audience. Because sometimes we dig up these old segments, these Law and Order segments we dug up, and then people loved it, like just hearing them all in a row because we just covered Law and Order SVU. Also, I want to cover the Law and Order SVU episodes with you that are relevant to like this stuff like COVID, and like so there's been some kind of like funny like plot lines this season, Not that I've really watched them, I've just kind of read about it.
Well, I'll be there to do it. So enjoy.
Yeah, us. We like to talk about absolute garbage, but SVU, it holds a place in the culture. So deal with it. It might come up.
And as always, I mean, it's a hog planet. We're just living in it. We have to. We got
it's a hog planet. So follow me on Twitter at Spaventacular, SPAVENTACULAR. Follow me on Instagram at DSpaventa, DSPAVENTA, for paintings mostly, and sometimes other stuff, mostly paintings, and just a picture of me with Kyle MacLachlan and JB Smooth. Those are the two non-paintings on my grid right now. I would say those two are worth it to break the cycle of paintings.
Those two look like paintings also, so because they're like gorgeous. It's like a Renaissance painting.
Also, listen to Gilbert Gottfried's podcast. I work on it. It's a great show about Hollywood history. Great guests and great, really well researched. And Gilbert's one of the funniest people ever. Check it out. Sam, anything to plug here? I guess we still have the Hog Planet Twitter, right?
I thought you were taking that over, but
I guess I do. Okay, I'm taking it over for the Bob Dylan podcast. We don't need a Twitter for this show.
Yeah, we don't need a Twitter. They follow the show.
Follow us. Follow the people.
You can follow me
hosts.
at Wagstank on Twitter too. But this is the stuff right here. Look at this. Like,
I did. You know how dead the show was? I deleted the Instagram like 2 weeks ago, and now we're doing the show again. Oh well,
so be it. It's all.
I don't fucking
fun,
care
so
who listens to this. If people want to listen to it, they can. And that's it. This. Do you have anything to say, Sam? Before I say the final line,
I was gonna blow a kiss, actually.
Oh well. Feel free to do that while I say, this is Hog Planet.